Okay, so this is the study guide for 5.7, 5.8. I have a couple of answers already written here, but let me explain. Which figure is a polygon? The only one that's a polygon would be C, because a polygon has straight sides and it's enclosed. Well, these all have curved sides, so that's why C is the correct answer. For 2, how many lines of symmetry does the figure have? We can draw 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 lines of symmetry. It won't be quite like this on the test because all of these are the same as this, so you kind of can see that D has to be the answer. But let's talk about why these aren't. Like, there's lots of lines here that are not lines of symmetry. If I folded the shape on this line, it would have overlap. Same with this. This is not a line of symmetry, nor is this. Really, none of those are. Because if you folded that shape on those lines, they would not lie flat without any overlaps. And this one's missing some. Okay. How many letters in the word whisper have exactly 2 lines of symmetry? We can see the word W has 1 and E has 1. H, you can go this way or this way. And I, you can go this way or this way too. Even though it's kind of skinny. But it still does have 2 lines of symmetry. So there are 2 letters. Well, let's talk about S, P, and R have none. So there are only 2 letters that have exactly 2 lines. Like I said, these 2 have only 1, so that's why the answer wasn't 4, although that wasn't a choice. Okay. Determine the smallest clockwise rotation of the figure that will produce the same image as a rotation of 360 degrees. The correct answer for that one is C, because if I go 360 degrees, that's all the way around, but at a quarter turn, if we think of it as a circle, and a 60 degrees, if I were to divide 360 into 6 different sections, because there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, kind of like a hexagon, I'm gonna hit this next shape when I go 1/6 of the circle. It's gonna look just like it did when I got started. It'll do it again, 6 times if I go all the way around. So that's why 1/6 of 360 is 60 degrees. So C has to be the answer. Which figure is a triangular prism? A triangular prism, it has to have a triangle as its base, and it has to have 2 bases. So this is the only shape that if I were to go straight through the figure, you'd also see a triangle on that side. Whereas that, yes, it has a triangle base, but it doesn't have 2 of them. That's a pyramid. Find the volume of the rectangular prism. Volume is length times width times height. So we could say the length, we have 2 times 3, and it's 1 block high. So the volume has to be 6 cubic units. Okay, find the volume of the rectangular prism. Again, we can use length times width times height. So that would be 20. 20 times 7 times 2. 20 times 7 is 140, and 140 times 2 is going to give you 280 cubic meters. The volume of a cylinder. Well, you have to find the area of the base times the height. So the base is a circle, and the formula to find the area of a circle is pi r squared. We'll use 3.14 for pi. The radius is given, that's 8. And this means that I have to square the 8 and then multiply it by 3.14. You could also, on this type of calculator, enter in 3.14 times 8, and see there's a little x squared button. If you click on that, it'll enter in 8 squared, and then you just push equal, and you get 296 hundredths. And this is square feet. Okay, that's just the area of the base. Then we have to multiply the area of the base times the height. So I can go back to my calculator and just multiply times 19 to get 3,818. And it does say round to the nearest tenth. Looks like it's not rounding just to the nearest tenth. But 3,820 is the closest, so C is the answer. They might have used a different form of pi. That's probably why their number is a little bit off. But on the test, just make sure, I mean, that's clearly very different than the rest of them. I think it'll be pretty easy to figure out which one is the right answer if you just have to round it a little bit. Number 10, a cylindrical oil storage tank has a height of 10 meters and a diameter of 24 meters. If the tank is full, how much oil does it contain? Round to the nearest tenth of a kilometer. So imagine your tank here has a height of 10 and a diameter of 24. So we're going to have to do the same thing we did in question number 9. Find the area of the circle, pi r squared. So that's 3.14. Of course, if the diameter is 24, then the radius is half of that. And we enter that in our calculator. 3.14 times 12 squared, 452 and 16 hundredths. And then we just multiply that by the height, which is 10, which we could just move our decimal over once. But in case you don't want to do that and you want to multiply it by 10, get 4,521.6, so that would be closest to C. Suppose you must replace the tire on a bicycle. Should the replacement be congruent or similar to the original tire? Remember that congruent, we talked about, well, let's use circles since we're talking about circles. A circle on a car or a bicycle, you would want them to be the same size, same shape. Otherwise, you're going to have some issues. And I'm not a really good drawer. Okay, this is not... okay, forget it. This is a wheel on the bicycle. And you would want them to be congruent because you want same size, same shape. Similar just means there's two circles. Like this circle is similar to this circle. So in words, I would put they would have to be congruent because you want them the same size, same shape. Okay, number 12. Does the design above have line symmetry? Yes, it does. It actually has 4. You could go like that, like that, like that, and like that. So yes, and 4. Is the second figure a rotation of the first figure? No. A rotation means if I were to move this and I put it here, notice that the tail is on the right side, and if I kept turning it, it's on the left side, not the right. So it's not a rotation. It may be a slide or a flip, but it's not a rotation. Okay, question 14. The volume of the rectangular prism above is 6,912 cubic centimeters. The length measures 48 centimeters and the height is 12 centimeters. What is the width of the prism? Okay, so we're given the volume, we're given the length and the height. So we know volume is length times width times height. So we know length is 48. We don't know W, and we know that the height is 12. So what we don't know is W. So we can multiply these numbers together, and 48 times 12 is 576. We still don't know W, but we do know our volume. So to isolate the variable, we would divide both sides by 576. You know, those cancel out because they would become 1. And 6,912 divided by 576 is 12. So D is the correct answer. Which of the following figures does not illustrate a reflection? And a reflection means is a flip. So that's flipped, that's flipped, that's flipped, but that is not flipped. So D is the correct answer. Triangle RST above is to be rotated clockwise 90 degrees about point R. What will be the new coordinates of point S after the rotation? So if it's going 90 degrees, hold your pencil on the origin and turn it 90 degrees. And now point R, hold on a second. What will the coordinates of point S? Okay, sorry. So we are going to rotate it 90 degrees, but now we're looking at the coordinates of S. So ignore the numbers as they're written, but you count over. This would be 6, -2. So D is the correct answer. So the key of this is use the grid as your reference, but ignore the numbers. So when you're going 90 degrees, you're turning it, and then you're plotting your point. Okay? 17. Leah bought a set of 4 decorative plates as shown above. Which plate has rotational symmetry but not line symmetry? And that would be B, because of you can see some symmetrical things with line symmetry, but this one you could never draw a line. All the other ones you could. So it would be B. And number 18, an aquarium is in the shape of a rectangular prism as shown above. The aquarium has a length of 70, a width of 30, and a height of 40. So we're just going to multiply all those numbers together, length times width times height. 70 times 30 times 40, and you would get 84,000, which is A. And finally, 2 more volume questions. Volume equals the area of the base times the height. So we're going to have to find the area of these circles. Pi r squared, 3.14, and 4 squared. And then multiply it by the height. So to do that, 3.14 times 4 squared equals 50.24. The height is 6, so we just multiply it by 6 to get 301 and 44 inches squared. Same process with this one. You're going to enter 3.14 times radius squared, 2 squared, equals times 6. 75 and 36 cubic inches. I put a 2 there. It should be a 3. So I'll always have your units of measurement in volume cubed. All right, good luck.